What is up, my little pretties? It's your mistress, the Lioness here, and today we're reviewing a good movie. Now, today we are going to review Charlotte's Web. Now, this is the original animated version of it, and this movie came out around 1973, and I honestly find this movie to be a really good childhood classic. Most of us as a kid, probably in the 90s and even the 2000s, have been, I'm pretty sure their teachers have read this book when you were a kid. Even my teacher has read this book when I was a kid, and I honestly loved the movie. Like, the movie itself was actually really good. Like, this is based on the book by E.B. White, who wrote it around, I can't honestly remember what year the book came out, but I know it did come out around maybe in the 1990, in the 1900s. So I just thought, point that out. Now, so this is basically based on the book, and has been a childhood favorite book. But of course, the movie is really good. Of course, we do have a sequel that I will review you in a bit, or kind of like later on, as I'm reviewing movies, which is Charlotte's Web, Wilbur's Great Adventure. That one was a pretty decent sequel, I can definitely say. It's a pretty good one at that point. Decent for some people, and even though some people don't like it, that's fine. They even have a remake of this movie that came out in 2006, so yeah. With that being said, I'm just going to warn you guys right now that I am going to spoil everything about Charlotte's Web. So, if you have not seen this movie, I highly recommend you click off this review and go watch another one of my videos if you like. Okay, now basically the plot of this is taking place at Fern's farm, where her mother and father were raising pigs. Like, one of the pigs was a runt and he was very little, so Fern's father decides to go and kill it. However, for Fern seeing that killing is wrong, she ends up going to stop her dad from killing the innocent pig, saying, if she was small like that, would he kill her? And he said no. So he decides to let Fern take care of Wilbur. And as you can see in the movie, you see, Wilbur spending time with Fern and stuff like that. However, throughout the summer to like around the fall or something, when Wilbur started to get really big, her dad had told Fern that he has to go to Zuckerman's farm, Homer Zuckerman, or Fern's uncle, whatever you prefer to call it, as he's not a baby anymore and all of his brothers and sisters were sold. So basically, Wilbur goes to another farm and he wants to make friends with some people, but they declined it because he's a pig. And however, one of the sheep tells Wilbur that he is staying at the barn until he is really big and fat, until Zuckerman decides to kill the pig. Well, Wilbur. And to be honest, this actually happens in real life. Like, farmers that raise pigs, they actually kill them for, ham and, bacon and stuff like that. This actually happens in real life. And I know I don't like the idea of killing animals or the idea of farmers doing that. I understand that they do that for a living, but I would never do that. Even if I was raising pigs, I would never do that. So that's just something I want to point out, because this actually happens in real life when it comes to raising pigs. Well, most farmers do in that case. However, Wilbur gets upset about it and he says he doesn't want to die. So a spider named Charlotte said that she will help him. So as the days went by, Charlotte has an idea by writing words on web. One of them being some pig, and the next day terrific, and then amazing, and etc. Like, she's writing on her words on the web, to kind of show people that that's what he is and stuff like that. So Zuckerman decides not to kill Wilbur, and he ends up taking him to the county fair. However, when Wilbur goes to the county fair, he takes Charlotte, and Templeton comes around with him. However, though, later on in the movie, we see see that Charlotte has an egg sack and it's got all of her children there. And Wilbur was just very excited, of going back to the barn. And Charlotte ends up telling Wilbur that she's dying and that she won't be coming back to the barn. So Wilbur gets heartbroken, but of course Templeton goes to get the egg sack and put it in the barn, and Charlotte trusts Wilbur to look after her children. So Wilbur ends up crying over the loss of his friend, but Charlotte tells him her last few words before she dies, which is that he made a friend and he was a good friend to her. And friendship was something important that Wilbur learned throughout. That is, friendship is always good. That's what he learns throughout the movie. Now, near the end of the movie, we see Wilbur getting sent home from the county fair, and Charlotte's eggs hatch. But however, most of the spiders have gone off to do their own thing, but 3 of her daughters decide to stay, which is Nellie, Joy, and Arania. So that's basically pretty much the end of the movie of Charlotte's Web. Now, what did I think of this movie? I have to say it was a really good movie as a kid, and even as an adult, I still love this movie as an adult to this day. Like, adults will love this movie, and even if you guys have not read the book, or if your teacher has read you the book or hasn't done so yet, then this book is actually a really good story. There's a really great story in it, and I really do think that this story did a great job, which it obviously did a great job. However, though, is there anything negative? Well, one thing is for sure is that, the idea of, Wilbur being killed for, ham and bacon. Oh, pardon me for that. That was a burp. But, I understand, farmers do that in real life, but I still find that, a little bit dark. I could find that, mentionings of all, Wilbur, being turned into smoked bacon and ham and the farmer ends up killing him. That's dark. I really have to say that I know that even though this is not a non-Disney movie, it still really does a lot of dark things. Like, they even had a couple dark stuff in it. I can understand why this movie was a little dark, and I can really understand that. Now, I'm not that big on the remake, like 2006 remake of this movie. I'm not that big on it. I don't know why. I just wasn't interested in that one, which I'm just saying I'm not interested in the remake of it. But this one, I have to say, was 1,000 times better than the remake. That is something I can definitely say right now. Now, anything about that, there is no negative to say about it. I like the concept itself. It's really good. It's based on the book. The storyline of how the movie went out was amazing. I love the voice acting. I love the animation, which was really cool. And even though it's not bad for a non-Disney movie, it's still a really good movie. Now, I do wish this was a Disney movie. Like, Disney does a lot of, adds a lot of dark themes and stuff to it. This, I guess, non-Disney movies can do the same thing too. But anyways, this movie was actually really amazing, and I highly recommend you guys check out this movie if you haven't done so. Now, there is nothing negative I have to say about this. Well, nothing other negatives I have to say, so that's kind of good right there. But I can definitely say this is a really good childhood for most people to remember, especially if they want their memories back of being a kid, which, of course, that happened to be me. Alright, now with that being said, this is simply my own personal opinion, and and rest in peace to Debbie Reynolds, by the way. She passed away in 2016. That was about 4 years ago. And she's the voice of Charlotte, the spider. And she died, I think, 2 days after her daughter Carrie Fisher died. I can't honestly remember, but it was one or the other. But yeah, other than that, with that out of the way, I'm going to say right now that I really highly recommend this movie. This is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to this movie. This is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this movie would have to be a 9.5 out of 10. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10 is because the movie was really good. The concept, everything about it was good, but except for the dark stuff that they mentioned throughout the movie, that's the only thing I could definitely say, but other than that, this movie was really enjoyable, and I really do love it as a kid. It is sad, but it's still a good movie. Now, with that being said, what did you all think about this movie? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what would you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Well, not story. And what would you personally have done to make this movie better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the channel Lioness. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're brand new here to this channel, be sure you like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you will get notified to when my next upload is. And with that said, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.